Well, hello. Today I'll be talking about a person called Kosti Heiskanen, and this will be my first recording that I'm speaking in English, so bear with me. It's not a language that I use every day, so I understand it better than I can speak about this. The reason I'm doing this video about Kosti is because today someone posted me an article about him, and I read it when I was at lunch break in my work, and it's been something like 1 hour now that I'm back at home, and when I read it, I decided that I have to give my take on that article. I will go through that article and bring something different and new to add to that, because I don't know about the author who wrote the article, and I don't know nothing about the internet page or where it is. I haven't checked out anything about background, nothing about the writer or the page. So I don't know who actually wrote that and where he got this information, but the name seems like it's a Russian name, so I don't know who wrote it. For the people who never watch my channel, who don't know nothing about me, I can tell you that there's not many persons alive that are more against Russia than I am. I'm not pro-Russian person at all. I'd never been pro-Russian. Ever since I was kid growing up in the 70s, we used to play war games, and the enemy was always Russians. So I'm not a pro-Russian person, even though I know the person Kosti Heiskanen. I've known him 4 years now, and maybe there's a bit something needs to be corrected in the article. If that's so, it's not anything personal. It's not for against the writer. It's nothing like that. It's just that I'm gonna bring my knowledge to the table also about this person, because let's face it, he's very useful in Russian propaganda at this moment, and I'm talking about Kosti Heiskanen. He's making journalists or pseudo journalism in Russia and in Ukraine, the parts where Russia has invaded, and he's pretending to be a Finnish journalist. That's partly true, because he does have a Finnish citizenship, and he is partly Finnish by heritage also. And so it's not completely lie that he's a Finnish journalist. But I will go more on detail about his past and what I know about him. Bear with me, my English, like I said, is not good. I never used English. I mean, this is the most English I've spoken, like I don't know, years. It is much more easy to understand than when actually you have to start to think what you are saying. So let's start. Let's go first to that article. I put it up here. I'm gonna read it read it. I'm not going to read it completely, but I take some bits from there that I can give my input on. Let's see. Where I put it. Yes, the page it's called The Insider, and I think this lady here is Maria Sarabova or something like that. Russian disinformation minister. And the person who wrote this article is called Alexei Remisov. It's published 20th of June this year, just recently. So it's called Heiskanen outed as Lebedev, the fake Finn who serves Russian propaganda. Yes, since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, an independent Finnish journalist named Kosti Heiskanen has frequently appeared on Russian propaganda broadcasts. However, the insider has discovered that the purported Finnish expert is, in fact, Leningrad-born Konstantin Lebedev. I have to say to this, it's not news. I knew it already. I knew it that his given name was not Kosti Heiskanen, it is Konstantin Lebedev. Although I didn't remember his last name, but I knew he had a Russian name. He has told this in his VK page, and his VK page is, for the most part, it's for public to see. It's everybody can go check out. I can put it here. Just wait a little bit. I can put it here. Yes, this is. I can go through it a bit. What he's saying is, well, in this post he's saying that many people have asked me, how did my father look? He said that I'm not as handsome as he was, and he just explains that he didn't have very good relationship with his father, but they became friends again later. Let's put it this. So this is his father. That's his father, and we can check his name later. And this is like this article explains, Kosti is very much pro Russian propagandist, and he releases constantly posts about supporting the Russian troops and basically saying a lot of nasty and evil things about Ukrainians. This right here is he's talking about article that appeared in Finnish magazine called Ilta-Sanomat, and by a journalist called Arja Paananen, who's very accomplished Finnish journalist who writes a lot of good articles about Russia. She's lived in Russia and probably speaks Russian also, and is very knowledgeable journalist. And this article is about Prigozhin and how he was friends with Kosti Heiskanen and Johan Bäckman. It's another Finnish pro-Russia Putinist person that I can talk later about, but not in this video. I'm gonna search where he talks more about his family. It's okay. This is also he's talking about his family. Kosti Heiskanen, his father was Mikhail Lebedev. It says here. And Katri Ekaterina Shukova. Sorry. It's that's not, sorry, that's not his mother. I'm trying to locate where it says who's the mother of Kosti. Well, I can see now. I talk about his father's side. So this Katri Ekaterina Shukova is the mother of Mikhail Lebedev, who's the father of Kosti. Yeah, this is basically the same thing. What is here? But there's someone who's saying so the actual he claims that his original last name, family name is Romo. So someone is explaining here that a person called Reima Romo, he put here the Facebook. Someone wrote this. Someone is asking who's the real name of Kosti Heiskanen, and this Reima Romo answers Kosti's great grandmother was Finnish, and great grandfather was German, who left in the 30s to Soviet Union, but later they were executed by Stalin. Kosti's half Finn grandmother raised Kosti. And he says he doesn't remember what happened to Kosti's own parents, but they just apparently left, like he explains here before. He didn't have good relationship with his father because his father was more like apparently like to drink and party. Again, here he explains how he got to take the name, last name, the family name Heiskanen. When he moved to Finland, he apparently was having a relationship with some woman who had 3 sons, and those sons' last name, family name is called Heiskanen. So they got teased for some reason, and he decided to take the name Heiskanen for him. And he says that he's from the well-known Romo family. Romo family has lived hundreds of years in a town called Mikkeli and a place called Kangasniemi. And here again he says that he's partly Finn, partly from the place that belongs to Russia these days. These Karjalaiset and Vepsäläiset and German. So Karelians and I don't know what the Vepsäläiset are called in English, but they're like a relatives to Finnish people and German, he says. But for sure, he only also has I don't know why he doesn't say here, but definitely he's partly Russian also. But he leaves that information out. So that's about that. Let's go back to the article. Yes. So here's the article. Let's go through it a little bit more. Lebedev's career as a Pro-Kremlin propagandist began back in 2004 when he started speaking out about the supposed difficulties Russians faced in Finland. Today, he's a key figure in pro-Kremlin propaganda, targeting both a small pro-Russian Finnish audience and primarily the Russian public itself. Yes, I agree. But that his career started back in 2004. I don't know about that. I have to say that I kind of disagree with that. And I explain it later. When addressing the Finnish audience, Kosti Heiskanen regularly praises the wealth and beauty of life in Russia, the land of his birth. Yes. Yeah. In Finland, they start what he's saying in Kremlin-controlled television broadcasts. However, he tells the Russian audience a very different tale. In Finland, the standard of living has plummeted, with schools and shops shutting down. Well, schools are shutting down now because it's a summer vacation. No schools are open now. So partly he's partly right. He's not partly lying. Some shops are shutting down. It's a regular business. Some businesses are not working, and some businesses are working. So in a way, he's not lying with this one either. But of course, he's exaggerating and giving basically giving a false information to the Russian audience. What's the reality in Finland? And fascism and Russophobia spreading everywhere. Since 2022, the country has been infested with bedbugs and rats, and the medieval curse of scabies has returned. The Finns are concerned in fleeing their collapsing nation. They were once bootlickers of Hitler. Only Vladimir Putin can halt the madness gripping Europe. Ukraine is weeping loudly, and Ukrainian refugees have created criminal atmosphere in the land of thousand lakes. Yeah. I mean, I've seen him say things like that. Obviously, I can say that they are lies. They are just lies. Yes, you can always say that there are some people who are considering fleeing the collapsing nation. I remember when Finland joined NATO or started the process of joining NATO, and you have to understand that there are some pro-Kremlin, pro-Russian people in Finland, just like there are similar people in almost every Western nation or wherever you go. Some people find that Russia has to be because of the politicians in the West, or because of the media in the West. They are basically people who are against the current thing. So when the media is saying that Russia attacked Ukraine, so they want to believe always something different than what the media tells. It's sort of they want to repel against the current thing. So they find Russia the answer to that, to fight against the establishment or globalism or globalists or whatever in the Western world. So they cheer for Russia and they are pro-Russian. Just, if not anything, just for the sake of being having a different opinion from the most people. So some people were saying that yes, when Finland joins NATO, we are leaving the country, and it's funny. Nobody left. It's like when Trump got elected in 2016. When people said that when Trump is elected, if Trump is elected, they're moving to Canada or somewhere else. Nobody left, and nobody left here either. Nobody left when Finland joined NATO finally. And the funny thing is, a lot of people were thinking about they're going to move to Spain, for instance. Spain, who's been for years and years NATO country. But nobody's moving to Russia either. Yes. So you can always say that I'm sure there are bedbugs and rats in Finland. For sure there are, just like in every country also. But it's not. But Finland is not infested with those. That's completely bullshit. Yeah. Since the summer of 22, Heiskanen has been commenting on the situation in Finland for pro-Russian channels and media, organizing protests in St. Petersburg against border closures and providing expert opinions on NATO membership. Officially, he is hailed as an honorary member of the community of free journalists of Finland. In reality, Kosti Mikhail Heiskanen turned out to be Konstantin Mihailovich Lebedev, born in Leningrad in April 78. The insider has discovered. In the 30s, his Stalinist ancestors moved from Finland to the USSR, and the journalist himself lived in Russia. On a Russian passport and registration in 2000 June, he traveled from St. Petersburg to Moscow using Russian document, but in 2012, under the name Kosti Mikhail Heiskanen, he relocated to Germany and founded a travel company, working first in Hamburg and later in Berlin. Yes, like I said, his ancestors moved from Finland and from Germany also. It's not very uncommon that some people change their name to more Finnish name. When in the early 90s, a lot of people when Soviet Union broke, there were a lot of people who moved to Finland, and as a result of that, we have about approximately 100,000 Russians or people who speak Russian. Probably more Russians, but they are considered now Finns because they were born. Maybe their parents were from Russia or they were born, but now they are considered Finns and they're not counted as Russians. But the largest minority group is by far Russians, or basically a lot of people who moved back then were partly Finns. They were allowed to freely move to Finland. They were you had to have like a one ancestor, like a grandfather or grandmother had to be Inkeriläinen. It's called Inkeriläinen, who are not actually even Finns, but are kind of related to Finnish people. So a lot of those people were actually just Russians. But some of the people had Finnish family name also. So it's not that uncommon either that they would change their name. So yeah. In reality, yes. Yes. The move to Germany came after his journalistic career began. In 2004, Heiskanen launched Focus magazine, which published articles in Russian and Finnish about the hardships Russians supposedly faced in Finland. During this period, he managed to obtain his only press card from the Union of Journalists of Weekly Magazines, an organization that no longer exists. I don't know about that. I talked with him originally in the year 2000 that I actually got to know him. And back then he said that he's a member of the Journalistliitto. That's like a union of journalists. And when the war started, I mean, full-scale invasion of Ukraine, 2022. I just remember him telling me that he's no longer part of that he resigned from them. He was a photographer, and he had a lot of pictures in this union of journalists. And I don't know if it's the same thing, union of journalists of weekly magazines, but I know this Journalistliitto is still exists. He told me that he had a lot of the pictures there. It's like they had sort of like a bank of pictures that he would have plenty of pictures. He would take pictures and he would put them in this bank, and when someone writes an article and he needs a picture along with that article, he can go and pick up their a picture. Maybe they pay every month some sort of weekly monthly pay or something like this, and they can use those pictures. That's what he told me about his journalist career. But last time I talked with him was almost a year ago, and I remember, I can't remember for sure, but I think he told me that he resigned from them. He's not part of them. But originally in 2020, when I was speaking with him, he was very proud of that he's a member. He used to tell me many times that he's a member of that union. Let's get back to this article. There are no organizations that no longer exist. Until the summer of 2022, following the best Soviet traditions, the journalists attempt to establish so-called cultural exchange programs, which he claimed were meant to help Russian artists visit the EU and perform shows praising the Russian world. In reality, these programs were a means of importing Russian propagandists into Finland or Sweden under the guise of familiarization trips. Since 2022, Heiskanen himself has visited the Russian-occupied territories of Ukraine, reporting for Mariupol and several other cities. Okay, let's get back here, and this was also accurate. Let's back to this that he started his journalistic career in 2004. Heiskanen launched Focus magazine. I can't find really nothing about this Focus magazine. I have to say, I tried to find something, but so I can really say, is this true that it published articles in Russian and Finnish about the hardships of Russians supposedly faced in Finland? It's possible. It's possible. Let's see Kosti's Facebook page. Let's go there. Yes, let's go what he says about himself. So he says that he's working in a Finnish correspondent in Russia. He's working as a Finnish correspondent in Russia, St. Petersburg. And he says that, well, he's worked in travel as a travel writer in Berlin. And he's worked in Yhtyneet Kuvalehdet Suomen Kuvapalvelu. Yeah, this Suomen Kuvapalvelu is like a picture service. And Yhtyneet Kuvalehdet, that's probably what this article just explained. So maybe this Yhtyneet Kuvalehdet Suomen Kuvapalvelu, maybe it's not working anymore. It's true. And he says his photojournalismus. Oh, I don't know this company. And he's also claims to have worked all through his adult life in travel companies. And here he also says that from the year 2004 to 2010 he worked as an independent press Focus magazine. Yes, and then also Panorama magazine, Scandi News. Yeah, those are his credits where he has worked. So I don't know about this Focus magazine, but let me explain to someone who's not necessarily familiar with Finland. And the year 2004, 2004 was very different than 2024. People didn't generally think Russians as sort of enemies in Finland, or even in a everywhere in the world, in the Western world. It wasn't really the same thing that it's right now. This was 4 years before Russians fought the war in Georgia, and this was 3 years before Putin made his famous speech in Munich 2007, where he basically laid out that the Western world and NATO is against Russia. This was just a couple of years after 9/11, and people were just still slightly horrified about the jihadists and terrorists, and it was just right after USA invaded Iraq, and Putin was very much liked in the Western world and around the world. You know, he was one of the most liked presidents in the world. In fact, he got elected as journalist as the most likable foreign leader in the world before, I think it was Chirac or someone like that, but Putin won that one, and he was speaking about peace, and he didn't, and USA had just invaded Iraq for just bogus reasons, for reasons that everybody knew were lies. So a lot of people thought Russia was the good guys. No, people weren't really thinking about Russia, and people were probably thinking that one day Russia is going to be part of European Union or something like that. I don't know if he was working, towards Russian authorities, with Russian authorities to sort of bring pro-Kremlin propaganda to Finland with those magazines. I don't know, because you don't know. There's not a clear line between Russians. They can be FSB agents, they can be working for the Russian government, or they can be just regular, normal people. The lines are very blurred. You don't necessarily That doesn't mean that every Russian immigrant is a Russian spy or anything like that. No, of course not. But the lines are very blurred often. So it's possible that he was, working with FSB or something like this. But I doubt it. If I think how the times were in 2004 and how I've known the person, how I got to know the person, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. In the article, it says that it writes about the hardships of Russian people in Finland. Yeah, okay, yeah. Some of them probably had some difficulties here understanding the culture or whatever. Not everything is just directly from the Kremlin to try to intervene in our internal affairs. That doesn't always mean like that. There could be really behind him. He could have been very something positive to help these people out or whatever. Tell their stories, how they are living in Finland, or what kind of problems they have here. It doesn't mean that it's organized from Kremlin or something like that. Doesn't necessarily mean something like that. So the reason I don't believe that he was working for Kremlin back then is because he was known more of a critic of Putin's regime in Finland before. Let me show a couple of articles here. First of all, I can show you something that when he was working in Finland as a journalist, he was a photographer. He wasn't a writer. He was a photographer. And for instance, this is one of the biggest news magazines we have here, called Iltalehti. Let's see. Yeah. This is an article from 2009, and here's the name. This is about photographer's sentence from Smash Asem. What's it called? Demonstration. From Smash Asem demonstration. They talk about some photographer was convinced of something and the person who took this picture is Kosti Heiskanen. So his pictures were in a mainstream media. So he wasn't like only just an independent journalist doing work on just pro-Russian media or something like this. He was in a mainstream media. His pictures were in a mainstream media. And what else? Let's see. There was somewhere else also. And this is also, I'm going to show you this too. This is from the year 2008. again, something that says that he wasn't pro Putin or pro Kremlin back in 2011. Let me just translate this. It's better to translate. So this article says that the border authorities scolded a journalist who criticized Russia on Sunday. The Russian border inspection authorities slapped a journalist on the Alerko train who has criticized Russia's actions in the scandalous child abduction case of Anton Salonen. I can show more about this article because it's behind the paywall. But yes, there was in this case of Anton Salonen, and in fact, Kosti went to Russia and helped locate this boy called Anton Salonen for his father, who brought this boy back to Finland. I think the boy was 9 years old or something like this, and this man had a child with a Russian woman, and this boy was living in Finland, but this woman took this boy and went to Russia, and this man went back to Russia, took his boy, and basically Kosti Heiskanen helped this man to locate this boy. So later they brought this boy back to Finland, and back then it was sort of small scandal because they hit the boy in a back of car, and so basically it was something illegal to do, but Kosti Heiskanen did help this man. So apparently later the Russian authorities manhandled him in a train. And there's another article here also too. I put it also here. Again, Russian tourists got stuck in Vaalimaa for a day. Vaalimaa is Russian tourists got stuck in Vaalimaa for a day. Vaalimaa is a place where people can pass from Finland to Russia and back. So let's put this one more. So in this article, it says. So this article again. This is MTV, not a music television. It's a Finnish news site, one of the biggest mainstream medias in Finland. So what they are saying is that they're quoting Kosti. They say, in dealing with Russia, the editor of Focus magazine, Kosti Heiskanen, received requests from help today from acquaintances who were on trip. According to him, the Russian passport control was not prepared for the increased number of passengers. The same applies to the Russian bus fleet as much as to quality. Overtired drivers are also risk, Heiskanen estimates. Finnish buses have been tried for the passengers of buses frozen behind the border. Well, yeah. Well, they just. My point is that they are quoting Kosti Heiskanen back then, and he wasn't known as sort of pro-Russian. He was more like a because he knew Russian culture and he spoke Russian and he also spoke Finnish. He has told that because he lived with his grandmother and this grandmother was speaking Finnish to him, who was half Finnish, her grandmother. So he learned to speak Finnish in when he was growing up. So, and because he's working in a tourist travel agencies, so he probably had contacts back then. Yeah. There's also what I said, the border authorities were manhandling Kosti. Now I found an article that I don't have to pay. So I translate those here also. This. On Sunday, the Russian border inspector authority slapped the journalist on the Aleko train. Yes, okay, I told this about. This is pure cheating, says Heiskanen. Heiskanen, a citizen of both countries, works, among other things, at the Scandinavian service, which relays news from the Nordic countries to Russia. According to the journalist, the senior lieutenant who checked the passport brought up Heiskanen's negative articles about Russia and accused the journalist of being a traitor. The inspector separately mentioned his role as the defender of Paavo Salonen, father of the kidnapped Anton Salonen. So this was the case. Just a little break now. And I'm back. And explain a little bit. I'm going to take more about the case. The custody dispute over Anton Salonen escalated in 2004 when Anton's mother Rimma Salonen took the boy to Russia without permission. The child was finally brought securely across the border to Finland in a diplomatic car. Okay, it was, yeah. In Russia, the sympathies of the media have been on the side of Anton's Russian mother. In Alerko, a Finnish tourist who was in the same carriage describes the scene as humiliating and inappropriate teasing. After the inspection, Heiskanen and the tourist group he led were able to continue their trip to Finland as normal. On the Russian side, Alergo's border checks are carried out on the train between St. Petersburg and Vyborg. The department that operates under the FSB of the country's security service is responsible for passport checks. Okay, that was the case. Yeah, that was the case. So let's get back to the article. I know this is going to be a really long video, but bear with me. There's still a lot of good information if you want to know more about Mr. Heiskanen. Okay, let's go back to the article. I told you in the beginning that I'm not going to read the whole article, but I think I might even end up reading the whole article anyway. Yes. Let's go back here. This just was about reporting for Mariupol and several other cities that he has done. He has done that in his VK page. Heiskanen claims to have been a long-time member of the Union of Journalists of Finland, but this claim refers to Toimittajaliitto, a union created by pro-Kremlin propagandist Johan Bäckman. Its site, managed from Russia, was designed to mimic the page of the actual union. Yes, I think the actual union is called Journalistiliitto, Journalist Union, and this is basically Toimittaja means the same thing. I don't understand why they basically say Journalistiliitto. This is Journalistiliitto, yes. Oh no, Journalistiliitto, Toimittajaliitto. Wait, I have to check that one out. I didn't. Yes, Journalistiliitto is actually a Finnish journalist union. I put it here. It's this one, and this is the real deal. So, and this is called Journalistiliitto.fi, that refers in Finland. Okay, so what they have done, what this person has done, this Johan Bäckman is another pro-Russian person in Finland. They took the name Journalistiliitto, the same, but it's .com domain in Russia. But in Finland they were known as Toimittajaliitto. This was first created, I think in Finland is 2016, but they say 2018 here. I don't know. It's not working anymore. They're basically done. But Heiskanen has never claimed to be part of that, as far as I know. Because basically they didn't do anything back in 2020, and I remember talking with him, and he was talking about journalist union. I really don't believe he was part of this fake journalist union thing. Heiskanen is not a member of any official freelance journalist associations. He is probably not anymore, because he told me that he has resigned. Although he claims to have worked for major Finnish media organizations, in reality he has only collaborated with Finnish language outlets that are closely connected to his pro-Kremlin allies. Well, that's not right. Like I just showed you, he does have some pictures okay, he only had one picture that are found in a mainstream media, but I remember him saying other medias that are basically mainstream media and not connected to pro-Kremlin allies. I'm going to show you something also where he has worked. A little bit more different, non-mainstream media, but not actually known as a pro-Kremlin sites. This, for instance, this ranneleague.net. This is his pictures are all over the place in this site. There are a lot of what I've seen his work closely with this site. The name from what you are seeing here now in English, that's From Moscow to Tiamen as Sexual Minority in Russia. This is basically a gay site. News about homosexuals. Kosti Heiskanen identifies himself as a bisexual. So he has worked with this site. And you put here two first that come up from the same site, ranneleague.net. Yeah, his pictures are there. They are not pro-Kremlin or anything like this. This is a sexual minority site. Okay. So let's get back to article again. Let's get back to article. Yes, the outlets that are closely connected to his pro-criminals: Janusz Putkonen, Bäckman, and Ilya Yanitskin. The person Bäckman that I just previously told about. Janusz Putkonen is another person, very pro-Kremlin Finnish person who lives now in Ukraine, in the parts that are overtaken by the Russians. Luhansk, he lives in Luhansk. Ilya Yanitskin is dead already. In many cases, the outlets in question have minimal connections to Finland. Putkonen's project Verkkomedia has launched from Thailand, where its creator lived before relocating to the Russian-occupied Donbass. Okay. Related media projects include Fennomaa and Fennomatka, registered in Moscow and Luhansk. These initially worked to facilitate travel to Donbass, and later, with Heiskanen's involvement, shifted their focus on St. Petersburg. Yes, that's true. Since the summer of 2022, Heiskanen has been posing as correspondent for the Finnish media outlet UMV-lehti, full name Uusi Mitä Vittu-lehti, or What the Fuck News, created in Spain 2014 by the aforementioned Yanitskin. Its chief editor is the same Putkonen who relocated from Thailand to Donbass. The publication is known for its racist and hate-inciting content. No, there's no racism, nothing. Hate-inciting content, maybe towards the West, towards NATO and so on, and Ukrainians. But you can't say it's racist these days when chief editor is Putkonen. It's not. You can't say it's racist in any way. That's a fact. Maybe you could say previously in 2014, 2015, you could have said that, but not under his rule. Furthermore, Putkonen is suspected of receiving direct funding from Moscow for his projects in the Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics, while personally managing the screening of foreign journalists. That's true. During the summer of 22, with the backing of local government in St. Petersburg, Heiskanen and Tatiana Demeneva launched a charitable initiative. Okay, that's something that I don't need to go through. Additionally, Heiskanen was involved in projects run by the Patrick Media Group, which has been linked to the late Yevgeny Prigozhin. That's what I talked about previously. He was also observed alongside neo-Nazis from the North Slavic community and the volunteer special training center colleagues of the Sabotage Assault Reconnaissance Group Rusix. That I don't know nothing. But I know he poses with everybody who's in Donbass or Luhansk or whatever fighting for Russia, whether those are communists or whatever. He also engaged in provocations that have been used by pro-Kremlin publications to promote Russian patriotism, among things. A frequent request on Johan Bäckman's jet studio Heiskanen appears to represent the program St. Petersburg's rants, according to description of one of the episodes. Yeah, okay. Now, yes. This according to in Colorado. He has also been recognized as respected Finnish expert across various Kremlin-controlled propaganda platforms, from Tsargrad and Russian World to Maria Butina's show on Channel 1, where he criticized Finland's new president Alexander Stubb. In collaboration with Anatoly Bublik, Heiskanen is involved in the Path Home project, which facilitates relocations to Russia. He has also partnered with Russian federal agency Russotrunitsetsvo and with the Russian World Foundation. Okay, that's a very good article. There's a lot of good information in this. Now, what happened with me and Heiskanen? I got to know him back in 2020, and this was because he released in his Facebook page a lot of information about his younger days when he was in St. Petersburg. This was just probably after Soviet Union had collapsed in the early 90s. And there were a lot of Finnish politicians trying to build relationships with now Russia, because it was more easy to go to Russia than it was in the days of Soviet Union, and the political changes that occurred after Soviet Union fell. A lot of Finnish politicians went to St. Petersburg and tried to build a connection with the new Russian leaders. There was this Finnish politician called Pekka Haavisto. I put him here. This guy, Green Parliament member of Green Party. He was minister for international development. He's been several times minister in the Finnish government. Just recently, in Finnish presidential elections, he was second. Just lost by about 100,000 votes to our new president, Alexander Stubb. He's homosexual, and Heiskanen was telling in his Facebook page that he was kind of well, he was not directly basically sexual harassment, doing something sexual harassment, but sort of sexually harassing Kosti, and Kosti was about 17, and back that time Kosti was basically paid by a lot of people who went there. He wasn't the official tourist guide there, but because he knew the city and he knew to speak, he spoke Finnish and obviously spoke Russian also. So he was helping a lot of Finnish politicians back then, and he was just saying that possibly he didn't really actually say anything that this man, this Finnish politician Pekka Haavisto, was actually having some sexual relationship with minor boys, but then it wasn't something that that was that much illegal in Russia. So clearly this politician has an eye for young men and needs to know, because he's married to a man now that he met when he was something like 50 years old or something like that, and this guy was 18, 19 or 20 when he met him. So he clearly has an eye for young men. So I contact Kosti and said, "Do you have something to say about this inside information? Do you know about him, something like this?" And when we talk on the telephone, he said that he has a lot of information on everything. And so I made a interview with him on my Facebook page. Sorry, my YouTube channel. I made 3 videos and where he was talking about just in general what happened in the early 90s with the Finnish politicians going there, getting drunk, and going to having hookers and getting drunk and doing nasty things, whatever. And I made 3 videos about that. So that's how I got to know Kosti. And back then he was more known. There was no political side to him at all. We weren't talking about really actual politics or anything. He wasn't interested in the politics or just in the things like he was more like against the like I said, he was more against the Putin's regime. But he didn't want to have anything to do with politics or anything like that. So he was interested in just in journalism as a photographer, and he wanted to launch a magazine in Finland, but he didn't get any support from anyone, and he got pissed off by that. But that was his passion more, and working as a travel guide. That was his passion also, and he would talk about those things all the time. So then I just got lost. I lost contact with him. We didn't talk or communicate in 2 years or anything like that. Then the war in Ukraine broke. And he was stuck in Russia back then. I remember talking with him before. He said he wants to leave Germany. He was thinking about he's going to move to Colombia because that's one of the places he likes to visit. And he speaks Spanish also. And so he was thinking about maybe he's going to move to Colombia or Colombia, whatever that's pronounced. But for some reason, he was in Russia when the war broke out, and he was telling me that he's going to move out from me. He's not going to stay there. But when the war broke out and a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, of course, it was 2014 already had started the war. But when the full invasion of Ukraine started, I spoke with him in the telephone because I wanted to know how he felt about the war. And I wanted to do a couple of videos from him from Russia. I wanted to know how the Russian people are thinking about the war. Do they know what we know in the Western world, in Finland and everywhere else about the war? And what's the situation? Is because back then there was all kinds of things happening that you the visas or people from Russia couldn't travel to abroad anymore that easily, and flights to Russia got stopped, and sanctions started and everything like that. And I wanted to know what's happening in Russia, how it affects Russia. When I spoke with him in telephone, he was really angry. He was really frustrated, really angry. He was really like a out of balance, how to say it. But much to my surprise, it wasn't what Russia was doing. It was what the Western world was doing, and he launched a really assault on the Ukrainians. He was saying really nasty things about Ukrainians, like spewing out constantly, like a 20 minutes or something like that. I was listening how Ukrainians are the devil, and when they're coming to out of Ukraine, they're all gonna be men, and they're gonna be raping everybody and all the women, and they're gonna be killing people, and they're gonna be stealing everything, and saying really absolutely nasty things about the Ukrainians, and I was really amazed how he was, because I wasn't expecting that. I was asking about him the war, and he said he was really surprised. He didn't believe that's going to happen, but he was completely changed. It's like suddenly he was fully on supporting Russian leaders and Putin and the invasion and the war. And he wasn't like that at all when I knew him before. He was really frustrated because he had a small dog or something like this, and he wanted to go to exhibitions, exhibitions around Europe or something like this. And he couldn't do that anymore, and he was so angry and so frustrated about that. And so suddenly, like within 2 months or something like this, he started appearing in a news in St. Petersburg, local news and something like that. And suddenly he's in RT news also, translating some Finnish pro-Kremlin people in the news, and so. But when I talked with him on telephone, we did two videos in my channel, and because I just still wanted to be in contact with him, even though I'm not a pro-Russian person. I'm against the Russian regime and just in general against the Russia. But back then I didn't know that. I thought actually that he was completely Finnish. I thought that his parents moved to Russia before he was born, and they were both Finns back then. But later on I got to know that after the war broke up and everything, that he's actually not that much Finnish. But I did two YouTube videos, live streams with him, and about the situation in Russia. The first episode I have to take out because he was talking too much politics and defending Russian defending the invasion of of Ukraine. I didn't want that on my channel, so I took it out. So he sent me a message later saying, what happened to that video? I said, okay, I had to take it down. I said, okay, take all the other videos also down from your channel. So I took them all out, and we kind of were not talking for a while. Then a year ago, he started to get friendly with other pro-Russian Finns, and especially with this guy, Janus Putkonen. This guy, who's the chief editor of this Mitä vittua UMV media. And they started to launch this like it says here. They started to have these projects to bring Finnish people to Luhansk and Donetsk. But it got changed, and they organized a trip to St. Petersburg. They had a quarrel, dispute about money, and because I saw it's very beneficial to have him, Kosti, because I knew him before and he trusted me. So I did a live stream with him about the situation with this guy. And they are basically enemies now. So that was my experience with Kosti Heiskanen. Like I said, this article is very good, but partly it's not correct. And for me, it's not for me the truth is important. So even though almost everything is correct in this article, some parts are not. Very few, and they're not very meaningful things. I guess that's pretty much it. This is a really long video. I don't never done as long before. I hope if someone watches this, they put double speed on this because I speak so slowly. But anyway, that's it on my take with this person. I told everything now that I know about Kosti Heiskanen. I was thinking a long time already that I'm gonna make a video about him, what I know. But this was kind of something that made me finally to do it. So thanks for watching my long ass video, and hope someone found something new that they didn't know before about this. It's very important to bring out to daylight this Finnish anti-patriotic, anti-Finnish pro-Russian people. I'm gonna do more videos about them also in English, because it's important to people know about them outside of Finland also. But thank you for watching.